Hello, this is Gerald to Avanois and some small demonstrations of letter combinations of formations. With some demonstrations of the letter combination of GANS and GANZ. GANZ, goose, but it also means total. Like GANZ, it means total. It's strange that these words have two completely different meanings, and I will investigate why and how. If I look at these words in my scheme, I will have an impression and I will know where the letters are used. All the letters are a reflection of how we perceive the world, what kind of elements we perceive and how we react to these elements, and according to how close or how far these elements are, we react to them differently, and we also have a counter response and have an idea about them and know how much we can use or not use or estimate or not estimate these combinations of letters. So depending on where the words are in this scheme, which basically just says, okay, this is nearby and this and up until something that is far away, all these elements can be described. If you're close by, we can use them immediately, and there's not much to say about them. If they are already moving away, changing and so on, we have to wait for the correct moment to be sure that we can also use them. And if they are very far away, it's a bit difficult to estimate them, so we also need a different approach. We have to look for an approach that still sees these objects and elements in the right context of everything what we can see better. So here we have all the words, and let's see where the letters from this word GANS or GANZ is lying in the scheme and how they look like and how they can be used. So I have the G, the N, I've even the Z or the S, depending on the German or Dutch word. And the first letter lies already at the end. It's the last, it's at the last option. When something is really far away, it's at the end of our scope, and we use the last end of our scope as the G. I can't use reference further away than that than with the G, so it's at the far end. So that's one starting point, and then I immediately go to the A, which is at the beginning, so I can use the starting point, so it's all the other end. Then I also have ears almost completely in the middle, also another starting point, a starting point that I can use, the N, so that is used in a good timing frame. So I have the spatial frame A, I have the timing frame N, and I have the limitations of my scope with the G. That's already three letters that are working together in a very good contrast, and the last letter of the contrast should conclude this. It is either a Z, which goes inwardly with all of its further formations, or S, which goes outwardly and do whatever it is supposed to do. So if GANZ and GANZ means all of it, the total of things, I can imagine that it is a good way to describe what is really at the edges of my understanding, as far as I can see, as close as I can see, and I can see it now. So these timing aspects, that I can notice it, it's noticed, and then I can leave it as it is, and it's even with some after effect or some after thing. It's the total package of everything I can describe or see or understand. It's all there in GANZ or the total, in the total thing. It only doesn't describe why it's also the goose, so that is a bit strange. So let's go further. Where or why this goose is appearing somewhere where there is a scope which is so wide, and at the moment and in the after moment that it's hard to see where the goose fits in. So let's see where I start from. So I have the G from the outer edge, then suddenly I go through the very close by edge. In a way I can also say, okay, I notice something, I can notice something, and from what is far away. Okay, that I can remember. What can I take out from it? The timing. I have the material here, the N, and I know I can follow it up because I know that there is a timing involved, and I know the right timing, so I will take the timing out, and then I end with the afterwards. Yeah, wherever that goes. Is that already determinable to make the goose from it? No, so I'll go further. How do I see this object? How do I see the GANS or GANZ or goose of all totality? Why is this also a form? How can I put this into a form? Let's try. I will go start from far away, the G. I'll have the A in it. The A means I have a point of reference that I can use. So I put that one in there. So I put it at the far edge. Very well. Okay, so I have it already. So I can notice something that is far away. What do I notice? The N. I notice that it moves in time forward, and it has its own use. It is usable, that it is going away, very far away, and so on. And what's the last letter? The S. It's a kind of, let's say, it has its effect. It shows its effect at the far edges. As far as I can see. I don't know where it starts from. I don't know. Sometimes I might not even see where it's going to, but at least I see the effect. I can sense the effect. I can sense this thing. Is that comparable to the goose? Yes, to the idea of the faraway goose. It is possible to notice this. Because when you have this far edge, the G, from everything which is here, which I can sense there, I can notice it also. I notice it in the goose, and there is a moment in time. They have also their exact moments in time in our time frame that is important of the seasonal changes and the changes. It has a deeper effect for us when we hear the goose. We know, okay, is that winter or spring, or is it a harvest, or what is going on? When winter is coming, we hear them disappear. We know, okay, now it's getting colder. We know there's a timing aspect involved, and that's already the next moment, and it will has its after effect in all kinds of way. How we perceive it, that's how we perceive the GANZ. Let's have it as an image, a little more clear. See here the space of my vision. I see the G there. Put the A in there. Put the N in there. And put the S in there. The effect that goes all the way at the outers. It goes all the way towards that point that I have noticed. This is goose. The goose has two kinds of forms that we can associate. It's the goose together in the sky, but also this very plump actually bird, which is hardly moving, but there is a comparison possible. I just leave it open a little bit. I know with the G, everything with the G has this large area of concentration, and we focus on what can happen there at the edges. What is happening there at the edges? There is something comes out, and that is the focus on, I want to move away somewhere in time, and I have my moment, and this moment, my focus will always be at some point. I will go away to the far edges, and I will disappear here, and that will last an impression on you. That's because you mention the bird like it is, and even this form, which is plump and big and enlarged as an area, its head is still focused. That when it will hear that it's the moment to go, the goose will go, and it will leave a lasting impression on you. I hope this was clear enough to compare the totality picture of from far away to close by, and to the moment that is important, that that it gives, yeah, that it gives meaning to it, that even with things that are far away and that are close by, if there can be a connection made in time between what is so far away and makes all the changes possible, makes a connection with other areas that we don't see at this moment. That's the GANS and GANZ, all of it together. That's the way how you have to perceive letters and letter combinations. The messages are in the words themselves. I hope you could understand and grasp what I was trying to say. And if you don't agree or see that it's not true or it is something else, just leave a note. I will read it. What you have to say. If it wasn't clear enough, that means maybe I wasn't clear enough at that point. But the letters and letter combinations are always an association that is ready there to make and to connect to, and these connections of letter orientations is there, and that's where we make the connections with these letters, and that's why we choose these letter combinations. These are the openings to the worlds beyond in time and space and in communication, and even beyond our normal borders, where we associate the things, sometimes even too materialistic at sometimes, because all these things that are also named with words have possibilities to connect not only to the physical objects and the material, but also to the timings and to the associations that we need to communicate with these timings and spaces and balance between what everything that has gotten a name. Anyhow, thanks for watching. This was Gerald Van Was. I hope you enjoyed. There's a website too with a list of words, and you have a short URL with some of the words that I demonstrated before. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to keep yourself updated. Thanks again. Bye-bye.